everybody, welcome to PBM's Video Entertainment, and welcome back to another episode of Thomas & Friends Import Reviews. In this video, we have finally left the crappy, no good Miller era. Well, we kind of already did that in the King of the Railway video. But besides that, we are actually going to be talking about the first season from the best era of CGI Thomas of all time. And the era I am referring to is none other than the Brenner era, and the season I am of course talking about is Season 17. So without further ado, we will now jump into the history of Thomas Season 17. So the first couple episodes of Thomas Season 17 was released onto US DVD back in April 2013, and the DVD I'm talking about is Railway Mischief. Then on June 3rd of 2013, it finally came to UK television, airing on Milkshake, and then it came to Nick Jr. a year later. Now, for here in US, we finally got Season 17 on PBS Kids back in October 7th of 2013. And now let's talk about Thomas Season 17 on DVD, shall we? So the complete Season 17 of Thomas was finally released onto UK DVD back in June 8th of 2016. Now, interesting fact, for some reason, this is a 2-disc set, so we get 13 episodes per disc. It kind of reminds me of Thomas & Friends the Earliers from the United States. And now we got the history part done, we will now jump into my copy of the complete Season 17 of Thomas. Alrighty, we will now take a look at my copy of Thomas Season 17. So here we have the front post art, looks pretty nice. Here we have 2-disc set, over 4 hours of Thomas. So yeah, instead of like cramming, all episodes on one disc, they decided to do 2 separate discs. It's probably like 13 episodes per disc, at least that's what I think. Anywho, here we have a promo shot of Thomas, right here. Thomas & Friends, complete Season 17. Then here we have 26 exciting stories. Then here we have the UK rating, Certified U, rated G in Ireland. Spine, new style hit logo, scrolling down here. Character profile of Thomas, same promo shot of Thomas, just like with the front post art. And then here we have the UK and Ireland ratings. And here we have the backside, blurb if you want to pause to read all of this. And then here we have Percy, Edward, Emily, James, and Henry. And here we have introducing new friends. So here we have Millie, Stephen, Kaylin, and Connor, and Porter. Now, for these 4 engines, we've already met them in King of the Railway. And then over here, we have the link to the Thomas website. DVD, it is Region 2, just like with all the other UK DVDs. And then here's all the copyright info, and then running time approximately 260 minutes. And yep. So let's have a look at the disc, then we'll have a look at this flyer right here. So here we have disc 1, and then we have disc 2. So here we have this side right here. You have like travel accessories and stuff like that. Available at all of these stores right here. Toys R Us. I miss Toys R Us, for sure. And then here we have, of course, some activity stuff, and then here we have Amazon.com. So yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, you can find pretty much like mini Toys R Us stores at Macy's, malls, and stuff like that. At least that's what I remember, because I think I remember like back in what, 2022, 2023. Yeah, there was like a little mini Toys R Us section at a Macy's store at a mall, which I find that pretty interesting. Anyways, we are going to do 2 separate menu tours. We'll have the menu tour for disc 1, and then the menu tour for disc 2. So anyways, we are going to do the menu tour for disc 1 of the complete Season 17. Alrighty, so here we have the menu tour for disc 1. So here we have play all episodes and select an episode, subtitles on or off. For our episode selection for disc 1, here we have Steamy Stafford, Gordon Runs Dry, The Lost Puff, Kevin's Cranky Friend, Scruff's Makeover, Too Many Fire Engines, Calm Down Caitlin, Wayward Winston, No More Mr. Nice Engine, Away from the Sea, Thomas's Shortcut, The Smelly Kipper, and Gone Fishing. And now for disc 2, this is pretty much similar to disc 1 pretty much. So you have, of course, play all episodes, select an episode, and subtitles on and off. For our episode selection for disc 2, here we have The Afternoon Tea Express, Henry's Hero, Luke's New Friend, The Switch, Not Now Charlie, The Thomas Way, The Phantom Express, Frozen Turntable, Percy's Lucky Day, No Stove for Thomas, Bill or Ben, The Missing Christmas Decorations, and Santa's Little Engine. And that's it for the menu tour for disc 2 of season 17. Now we'll jump into my review and thoughts on Thomas season 17. So overall, do I recommend Thomas season 17? Well, first off, what do I think about this season overall? One, this is a really good season, and second, this is way better than season 13 through 16 for sure. And three, this is the start of a better CGI Thomas for sure. And of course, this is the first season from the Brennan era for sure. Now, when I first came across season 17 back in like April or May of 2013, I, of course, was going through YouTube and saw there were some new episodes of Thomas, and of course a new season. And as I was listening for the narrator's voice, it turns out it was a new narrator called Mark Morgan. Because when I heard his narration, I was like, that's not Michelangelo's, is it? Because it couldn't be Michelangelo's, because he doesn't normally narrate Thomas episodes here in the US. He usually narrates Thomas episodes over in the UK and Australia and stuff like that. But yeah, I gotta say, when it comes to CGI Thomas, Mark Morgan is the best narrator for that job, for sure. And, yeah. And when I was watching Thomas season 17, I gotta say, and we can pretty much all agree on this point, like, this was the season 13 that we all wanted. Or heck, this was pretty much the season 12 we had in mind, because when Thomas season 12 came out, I mean, well, need I say more? And now let's talk about the returning characters into the Thomas franchise. So, the characters that have finally returned, we have Duck, Bill and Ben, and Harvey, which honestly really shocked me, because I was like, is this the start of a trend or something? And sure enough, it pretty much was throughout the entire Brenner era of Thomas, for sure. Now, I do know back in like 2012, when Blue Mountain Mystery was being released and stuff like that, we saw Scarloey, Renee Esterhandel, Peter Sam, Rusty. They all came back into the season. They all came back into the franchise after, like, Thomas season 12. And so, well, pretty much, Blue Mountain Mystery and Thomas season 16, it was, of course, foreshadowing because, well, need I say more on that part? But the point is, I was surprised to see Duck, Bill and Ben, and Harvey, like, coming back in season 17. Like, of all engines to come back, we have, like I said, Duck, Bill and Ben, and Harvey, which is really, really incredible, and it really means a lot. So, thank you to both Hit Entertainment and or Mattel, and I guess, and of course, I gotta thank, well, Andrew Brenner for that part too. So, overall, Thomas season 17 is a really good season, and it's a really great way to start off the Brenner era of Thomas and Friends, for sure. Now, before I go any further, I gotta say, my top 3 favorite episodes from this season happen to be, well, The Missing Christmas Decorations, because we finally got a Diesel 10 episode, because normally Diesel 10's is mainly a movie antagonist, like movies like Thomas Metzger and Dave Diesel's and stuff like that, you know? But yeah, we finally got a Diesel 10 episode. And then I really love Bill or Ben, the episode, because, yeah, I love how Bill and Ben, they play a trick on Connor and stuff like that. And then at the end, both Bill and Ben were painted blue. Well, pretty much, Bill was supposed to be, you know, painted blue. But then it backfired because Ben, you know, tricks Kevin into thinking that he's Bill and stuff like that. And so Bill and Ben are now both blue. And then, of course, eventually they go back to being yellow. And then for my third favorite episode, either The Phantom Express or Gone Fishing. One of those two. Now, here's the real question. do I prefer the US version or the UK version? Now, I know the narrator, Mark Morgan, he narrated the entire Bren era for both the US and the UK. Now, for voice actor-wise, do I prefer the US version? Or, the US voice actors or the UK voice actors? Now, if y'all prefer the US voice actors, then just get these DVDs, because this right here is pretty much the entire season 17 on US DVD, pretty much. Now, if you prefer the UK version of season 17, go for this one. Or if you don't care, then I would say get this one because, well, it could save you, storage and stuff like that, you know. So anyways, that's going to do it for me, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Take care.